morning, book besties. Happy Juneteenth. Today, I just wanted to do a special vlog today where I simply just want to do just a couple of reading sprints. And then I also want to share a few Black authors with you. Some books I've read, some books are on my TBR. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list, but please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. But please come join me. So please go out and get your books and let's go vibe out and read some Black books. So let's get to it. So the book that I am going to read is Black AF History, The Unwhitewashed Story of America by Harriot. I've seen this book all over social media. People have been talking about it being very good. I literally just blind bought this book. I didn't even look up too many reviews. I just saw it all over. I think Facebook was where I saw it the most. And then I seen it a little bit on TikTok, and I decided because it is Juneteenth, then let me go ahead and just read some of my Black history. And this is just what I decided to kind of start with. all of that time. I did make it to about page 40 in the book, and so far so good. So it's America's backstory is a whitewashed mythology implanted in our collective memory. It is a sugar-coated legend based on an almost true story. It could even be said that the devaluation and erasure of the Black experience is as American as apple pie. In this searingly smart, bitingly hilarious retelling of American history, acclaimed columnist and political commentator Michael Harriot combines unapologetically provocative storytelling with meticulous research to correct the record. Placing Black people squarely at the center, Harriot presents a more accurate version of American history. And I will say, and then like at the end, it says, for too long, we have refused to acknowledge that Black history is American history, not this one. This history is Black as fuck. So, so far, like the beginning, it does talk through like Christopher Columbus, the Pilgrims, and all of that, and like what really happened. And he does equate that to kind of, he uses things to kind of equate that to what we see now in society. And it was actually like parts in the beginning, like I don't know if you guys saw, you saw me, I was like really laughing about this book. So this is something that I'm really excited to continue. So this is the first book, and I'm going to choose another book for the next book sprint. So I finished 40 pages of that one, but also I do want to share a couple of books that I just randomly picked of Black authors. Some I've read, some are just on my TBR, and I'll quickly talk through those. But I just want to share some other Black literature that's out there in different but I also wanted to just make sure that I share some Black literature that's out there in different genres and tropes and things like that. Alrighty. So the first one that I have not read this one yet, but I've heard a lot about, and it is by Ashley Antoinette, and it's Moth to a Flame. I think this is more of like an urban fiction book, which I do like urban fiction, but I've heard great things about Ashley Antoinette in this book, and I think it's a part of like a huge series, like the Butterfly Effect or something like that. I think the name of the books are, and I have like Butterfly 1, 2, and 3 if I'm not mistaken, but I think it's like a full, and then Ethic is another story spinoff like after that if I'm not mistaken, but I think I'm supposed to start with this one. I do want to start this book this year at some time, but that's one that I wanted to share. And I'm just going to go through and just randomly pick. They'll be in different genres. This is going to be in the romance genre, and this is The Accidental Pinup by Danielle Jackson. I literally bought this book because the cover is absolutely stunning, and also because I've heard great things about this one. There's another book by Danielle Jackson as well, and I do have the other one as well, but I just didn't want to like pull out all of my books. I just randomly picked this one up. But I know that this one is about a plus size photographer, and she goes into becoming like a model and doing like boudoir photos and things like that. And then this is Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends by Tia Williams. This is kind of the spinoff to 7 Days in June. And the daughter Audrey was in that book, so she did get her own book. This is a new release that I think it released in either May or June, early June. But I'm really excited because I really did enjoy her in the last book. I just finished this book a couple of days ago, and it is Hear My Heart by Tay Monet. This book is absolutely phenomenal, guys. Like, it has a lot of spice in it, but it does follow someone who is hearing impaired. So I do love the representation there throughout this book. And it talks about like how someone, trying to find someone who actually embraces your disability and so tries to accommodate you. So I really did love this book. This was a 5 out of 5 star read for me. I want to read it again. Like, this is perfect for, like, of course, fall, but it was just released not too long ago, and I have been waiting for this to come out in paperback. So when it finally came in paperback, that's why I was like, I was going to read it. And then I'm also going to go and like look at these pages inside the book. Like, just attention to detail. This is also my first Tay Monet book. So I will say she is going to be an auto-buy author for me. And she has a ton of other books. And I want to start reading her back catalog. I also just finished Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. This book is more of a literary fiction book. This book is absolutely wonderful. I gave this a 5 out of 5 star read. The audiobook, 5 out of 5. Please go read it. I really did enjoy this. So this book surrounds a babysitter who's almost 30. She's trying to figure out what's next in her life. And she decides to take a kid that she's babysitting. She's Black. The kid is white. She takes the child to a grocery store, if I'm not mistaken, and a white person in the store and the security guard kind of let her know, like, you can't leave the store. We think you're kidnapping this kid. Where'd you get this kid from? Who are you? So she was severely racially profiled for being Black with a white child, and things just, all the secrets and things just ended up just a hot mess in this book, but it was very good. I really did enjoy it. So I'll share 2 more during this time. I did just finish this book as well. This is Good Intentions by Brandon Massey. If you don't know, Brandon Massey is one of my favorite psychological thriller authors, and he's also, of course, he's a Black author. But I absolutely adored this book. This book was just released this month as well, if I'm not mistaken. It was either the end of May or the beginning of June. But this book follows Nate Noble as a preteen. He was like 12 or 13. He decided to help a friend who was being abused at home. He did something after his mom told him to mind his business, and he should have. So he took it upon himself to do what he did. 30 years later, his best friend comes and haunts him, and things just kind of just go crazy. And this was a roller coaster, like high stakes. So I really did enjoy this book, and I don't think I've ever read a Brandon Massey book that I've rated it lower. So The Landlord, Nana, Bad Influence is actually my favorite one, and this is my second favorite. But I absolutely adored this book. Alrighty, I have not read this one, and this is, I did not realize how thick it was when I bought it. But they have their big words on here, thank goodness. But this is Pieces of Me by Aubrey J, and the cover is absolutely stunning. Isn't she beautiful? So I have not read this book, but I've heard great things about Aubrey J's work. I've never read any Aubrey J's books as well. So this is where I wanted to start. I do want to read this year. And so I'm just sharing it here just to share. Alrighty, so those are all of the books that I am going to share now. And next, we will get into our next book grants. So now we're going to choose another book to get started on. And I think I am going to choose S.A. Cosby's King of Ashes. I have started that book, and I do need to finish it. So I'm going to do a 10-minute sprint. So please, guys, go get your book and read with me. this is S.A. Cosby's King of Ashes. This is actually my first S.A. Cosby book. I've heard wonderful things about his books. And I think one of them, Razor Blade Tears, is one that I was going to share with you. But King of Ashes, since this is a new release, this is about Rome. He gets a call saying that his dad is sick and he needs to come home. So he does go home, and he ends up finding out that his dad is in a coma in the hospital, and things aren't what they seem. So his family does own a crematorium, and his brother, who is just naive and just stupid, Rome is just being a really good brother, and he goes out to help his brother get out of some trouble, and it ends up being more than they bargained for. And so King of Ashes is essentially about the crematorium, and they end up being tied to like this terrible like gang in the town that they're in Virginia, and it's just a hot mess and a half. And Rome is being a really good brother, trying to be a really good son and take care of his family now, because he usually doesn't come around. So he's kind of doing a lot of things out of just guilt and just, I haven't been around, so let me just go above and beyond for my family members, which is great. It's admirable, honorable. I get what he's trying to do. But it's actually a really good story in trying to figure out what's going to happen. He's having to now do things that are illegal, and he's just caught up in just a whole nother world that his brother got him caught up in. And so it's actually really good. So I am probably right now, I am on page 157. Like I said, in the audiobook, I am further along. I'm almost finished in the audiobook, but the book has a total of 333 pages. So the book has 333 pages. I am on 157. So what is that? Almost half of the book. Just about 50% in the physical copy. So I plan on reading this soon. This is really good to the point where I can see this being a movie adaptation or a TV show adaptation. Like, it's really that good. It's reading like one of those types of, this is more of like a crime thriller, but it doesn't have all that fluff and extra stuff that some thrillers and things have in it, which I absolutely love. But this is S.A. Cosby's King of Ashes. Alrighty. So I'm going to pick another book soon. I'm not sure what book 3 is going to be for the sprint, but I do want to share a couple of other books. I'm going to share a lot on this one because we only have one more sprint left. So I'm going to be covering a large amount of books this time around. So, of course, everybody has seen this movie, but I've never read the book. So I do want to read The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I know what the movie's about, can probably rehearse and tell you word for word what that movie is about, but I definitely want to read the actual book. Of course, most people have seen Waiting to Exhale. That was one of a movie that my mom didn't let me watch, but when I became an adult, I understood this book. I understood the movie a lot more, and like why my mom wouldn't let me watch it. But also, I just understood it. Like, once you become an adult and you go through relationships, you understand Waiting to Exhale. So I really want to read the actual book, and this is by Terry McMillan. Another book that I really want to read and I wanted to showcase during this video was Hurricane Summer by Asha Brumfield. I think she goes back home to this person, Tilla, goes back home to take care of her dad, and I think her dad is sick or something like that. So some things she goes through, it says dynamic colorism, classism, and inherent dangers of becoming a woman. So I heard this book is a little bit emotional, but I do want to read this. as well. I've read this one and I absolutely love this book, and I listened to the audiobook, which is phenomenal as well. And this is The Filling Station by Vanessa Miller. This book is based on true accounts, and so it has a story in here about two sisters, Margaret and Evelyn, and I'm just going back to get their names again on the back of the book, but it does talk through like what happened during Black Wall Street and the Tulsa Race Massacre and everything that happened with that. So this was an amazing, this is actually, I want to say this is probably one of my first historical fiction books. And I have another book, The American Queen by Vanessa Miller, that I did buy after this because her writing is really good. So I really do want to read American Queen this year. That's one book that's on my TBR, but I definitely wanted to highlight this because today's Juneteenth. This is a must read, and quite frankly, I did not learn about the Tulsa Race Massacres until like I was in my 30s. And that is shameful. Like, I didn't learn that in school at all. And I don't recall my parents telling me about it or hearing about it in any other aspect of life, which is terrible. But now that I know, I'm like, okay, I need to start researching my history. And, you know what you know. And then now that I do know, I want to know more. So, yeah, this is a good book. Alrighty, so another book, I have not read this one. It's The Shadow Sister by Lily Mead. From my understanding, I think this is more along the lines of a fantasy book. On the back of the book, it says, sometimes people are lost from you, no matter how much they wish they weren't, and before you can ever begin to know how big of a hole they'll leave behind. So this book I read in high school, I think, and it's God Don't Like Ugly by Mary Monroe. This is more of a literary fiction book. I got this book from Thrift Books, and this book is actually signed. It's actually an autographed copy. It looks like it's an autographed copy of the book, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, but yeah, I can't remember. I've read this in high school, and I'm 37 now. So it's really old, a really old book. But I do remember loving this book, and I think this is a part of a series. I do remember the second book is like God Still Don't Like Ugly, is the next book. But this is a literary fiction book. I do remember this being really, really good and people loving that book. So this is a book that I've read. It's For Everyone by Jason Reynolds. This is actually my first Jason Reynolds book, and I do own some other ones of his that I really love. So this is just a book about race, and it's poems, and it's a really good book. And it says for everyone should read it, for sure. So the next book, this is my favorite book of all time. This is The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. I highly recommend this book. This is a book that I will recommend over and over and over again until the end of days. I don't think maybe I'll find a book better than this, but this is a historical fiction. People are classifying this as horror because it does have like a magical realism ghost in this book. It's not scary at all. I promise you, it's not. If anything, this book made me cry. Like, boo-hoo cry. So this book follows Robbie and his sister Gloria. Their dad escaped. This is like 1950s. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is 1950s Jim Crow South in Florida. And him and his sister are going to, they're taking a walk, and there's this white child who they usually go to swim with. He comes up to them because they walk past their property on this dirt road, and he is inappropriate to the sister. So Robbie takes it upon himself to basically save his sister or protect his sister because it was offensive what he did to the sister. And he literally just like kicked him or stepped on his leg. Did not injure this child, y'all. But of course, this is back during Jim Crow South. The dad of this white child saw it. Police were called. They come and get Robbie. Robbie was taken to a boys' home called the Reformatory, and it's absolutely horrific. They are whipping the kids. It's bad. It's terrible. He finds, it's like found family, some great friends. Things happen, and it's just sad all the way around. And I absolutely love this. Is like the first Tenanary book that I've ever read. And I literally plan on going out, and I'm working my way on getting all of her books. So this is one book. This is a new release that was released earlier this year, I think April or May. And this is Black Woman Grief, A Guide to Hope and Wholeness by Natasha Smith. I adored this book. I did have this book as an ARC through NetGalley. And so once this book was released, I made sure, oh my goodness, I want the physical copy. And I am planning on purchasing this book for a couple of my family members because this book is absolutely phenomenal. So this book goes and talks through all the grief, all the things of how a Black woman has to show up in society, be a strong woman. And this book is... it has a lot of Christian elements to it as well. So if you're not a Christian, you maybe not want to read this book, which is fine. But other than that, like, it has Bible verses throughout. And this book was just, I cried after reading this book. This book, I just felt seen after reading this book, if I'm being honest. So I'll read the back of it. So it says, in Black Woman Grief, Natasha Smith unearths a painful reality that is tangled within our nation's roots and DNA. Trauma, loss, and grief are embedded in the lived experience of the Black woman in the U.S. Smith talks about grief that is specifically applicable to Black women, providing them with the affirmation and safe space to exhale. Yet amid a broken world and broken systems that have weighed down Black women for generations, Smith reminds us that there is hope, because the kingdom of God is at hand. Through narrative and biblical truths, she encourages Black women to live a God-filled life in a grief-filled world. Y'all, this book is amazing. I just remember just like reading it and crying. And I had the Kindle version because I got it through eGalley digitally, and like highlighting different passages. So I plan on annotating the crap out of this and talking about this book a lot more, because this is definitely something that helped me get through my burnout at work. So another book is Out of Body by Nia Davenport. And from my understanding of this book, this is like a really quick thriller, fast-paced thriller that these are two friends. They meet up, and then one is getting into the other's body. Somehow, I can't remember exactly because I haven't read this book yet, but I'm just going off my understanding of what I remember people talking about the book. So one gets into the other's body, but once they swap, she loves the other body, and she's going to basically refuse to swap back, essentially. So that's my understanding of this by Nia Davenport. I absolutely want to read this in the fall. So I wasn't able to read it last fall, but I'm going to make sure I read it this fall. So this hunky chunky book is a book that I've heard so many people talk about, said that they have read this so many times. But when I bought the book, y'all, this book is Demon's Dream and Unexpected Love by Elle Kaysen. This book is over 700 pages. Like, it's 750. This book is almost 750 pages long, but everybody says that this book is absolutely amazing. People have even said they read this in one sitting because it's that good. And I'm like, okay, so, but this will be my first, no, this is not my first Elle Kaysen book. I think this will be my second Elle Kaysen book. but it is a standalone. It's not like a part of a series or anything. So I really want to read this at some point in time. So, of course, remember I told you that I wanted to buy all the books that has Tananarive Dew's name on it. This one has Whispers in the Night, stories by Tananarive Dew and others, and this is edited by Brandon Massey. Yes, my favorite, Brandon Massey. So this is just a collection of stories. I plan on reading this during the fall, of course, during spooky season, because they're just going to give me horror short stories and all the things. So I have that. So this is a book that I want to read. This is How It Went Down by Kekla Magoon. This book says the boy in the hoodie has been shot. Their known facts are few. Everyone tells a different story, but which one is the truth? So this is about a 16-year-old who was shot. This is multiple POVs about what went down or how it went down. And so everybody gives their account into what happened. So I'm really excited. So Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. This is a book that I've wanted for a very long time. I forget what this book is about, but I heard it's good. Let's see. No one bats an eye when a Black reality TV star is found dead, except her estranged half-sister, whose refusal to believe the official story leads her on a dangerous search for the truth. I don't have to read the rest. That's like, ooh, cool. So this is Like a Sister. So another book by S.A. Cosby is Razor Blade Tears. I had actually started reading this book, and this book is about two dads. They both lose their sons. They, get a call that their sons have been murdered, and their sons are gay. And they basically have to get together to find out why were their children murdered, and they're also going to go in together and kind of raise their son's child. And they just go through. So I actually got through a decent part of the book. I just didn't finish it because I think I had this on audiobook at the time on Spotify. I ran out of hours or whatever on this on this one as well. So I think it's actually available on my Libby right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this one out. But I'm actually almost finished. It's going to be a 5-star read. I can already tell you that right now. This is another book that I've heard great things about, and this is Night Crawling by Layla Motley. I am not sure exactly what this book is about, but this says a dazzling novel about a young Black woman who walks the streets of Oakland, a debut that announces a blazingly original voice. Kira and her brother Marcus are scraping by an East Oakland apartment complex. Both have dropped out of high school, their family fractured by death in prison. But while Marcus clings to his dream of rap stardom, Kira hunts for work to pay their rent, which has more than doubled, and to keep the 9-year-old boy next door, abandoned by his mother, safe and fed. One night, what begins as a drunken misunderstanding with a stranger turns into the job Kira never imagined wanting, but now desperately needs: night crawling. Her world breaks open even further when the name surfaces in an investigation that exposes her as a key witness in a massive scandal within the Oakland Police Department. So this is, I feel like, going to be heartbreaking, and I'm probably going to be crying with this book. But yeah, so I'm really excited to read that one. It looks like I can probably read it in one sitting, but I've heard great things about this book, so we'll see. And last but not least, I literally picked this up. Don't know what it's about, but this is Wade in the Water by, I can't see her name because it's by Nyani Nkrumah. And this book is a stunning literary debut featuring two unforgettable people, resonant with the emotional urgency of Alice Walker's classic Meridian and the poignant charm of Sue Monk's kids, The Secret Life of Bees. Wade in the Water tells the story of an unforgettable summer in 1982, seen largely through the eyes of Ella, a young mistreated Black 11-year-old girl who lives with Leroy, who resents her, and her mother, who cannot stand to look at her. So it looks like they're going to be racially divided in their Mississippi town. The community is immediately suspicious. Okay. So this one is going to be good. I can already tell that one's going to be good. So those are just a couple of more Black literary books that I just wanted to just share with everybody to pick up that are in different genres, so you can kind of get a feel for what you want to read and what's out there and what's available if you're not sure. So I just wanted to also provide some book recs, some Black book recs as well. So we will get started with sprint number 3, our last and final one, and then I'll share the last of my books that I have left, and then we'll be done today, and y'all will have completed 30 minutes of reading today. So please make sure you put in the comments, what did you read? How far did you get in your book? What are you guys planning to possibly pick up from all of these book recs if you haven't read them already? And then also, if you have book recs to give to me, please do so. Like I've already said, these are not all of the books that these are just random books that I just selected in different genres that I just wanted to share. Some like I've said, some I've read, some are just on my TBR. So yeah. Alrighty, let's get ready for sprint number 3. The third book for this sprint that I was reading was Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I've heard great things about this book, so I do have all 3 copies of the book, I think from Book of the Month, and I think I have like paperback copies as well. I will say this is a YA fantasy book, and it says, when the shadows rise, so will the light. When blood is shed, blood will call. By the king's table, for the order's might. By the eternal oaths, the line is law. But this is just about Bree Matthews. She finds out that her mother passed away, and I think her mother's like this really big scientist. She ends up going off to college, and she ends up finding out she has powers. And I think it's like a King Arthur's retelling or something like that, if from my understanding, from how people have kind of explained it. So I literally only got to like chapter 2 or 3 just from this 10-minute sprint. So it didn't get too far. I will say the writing is really small, so I don't like that about the book. So we'll see how it looks in the paperbacks that I do have. But yeah, so I do plan on finishing this series up. So I want to share the last of the books, and then we will finish up today's Juneteenth vlog. So these are the last set of books that I wanted to share with everybody, and we will get started. Okay, so this is an entire series. This is Kennedy Ryan's Skyland series. This is Before I Let Go, book 1. Book 2 is This Could Be Us. Book 3 was just released about 2 weeks ago, and this is Can't Get Enough. I've completely finished all 3 books and just finished this one, I think right before it came out, because I think I had the art for this. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely 5-star read, 5-star series. Please go out and read this. These are romance books, and this is a friend group, and we're following their lives. So some have some trigger warnings or maybe difficult to kind of get through. I cried in this one, and it was really difficult because it talked about caring for an elder parent with Alzheimer's. And so I could definitely relate to that book. So absolutely love that series. This is a series I really want to start. Have not started. I do have book 1 and book 2, but I think it's 3 books in this series. But it's A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. And it's for Malik. The Solstice Festival is a chance to escape from a war-stricken home, start a new life with his family of sisters in prosperous desert city of Zaran. But when a vengeful spirit abducts his younger sister, Nadia, as payment to enter the city, Malik strikes a fatal deal. Kill Karina, the crown princess of Zaran, in exchange for Nadia's freedom. So I think this is going to be like, he's going to have to try to kill the princess, and the princess is going to have to do something to him to try to keep herself alive or something like that. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth, and I think it's like a romanticy, if you will. And then the second book, A Psalm of Storm and Silence, I do have that one as well. Alrighty. So this book I have started reading. I'm listening to it on audiobook, and this is Blood at the Root by Ladarian Williams. This book is really good. A lot of people are explaining it like they're saying, oh, it's supposed to be like Black Hogwarts, because it goes to Cayman University, which is like a Black HBCU. I'm not getting that right now from reading the book, but I am a little bit early on as well. So, so far, I'm rating it. Right now, it's sitting at a solid 3 out of 5. Hopefully things get better. But I am enjoying the book overall. But I'm just waiting for more of the world building to kind of pick up in this book. So this is a book that I've read, and I absolutely love Octavia Grant. She is one of my favorite thriller authors. I'm just waiting on her to like write this huge horror book, because I know she has it in her, and she writes some unhinged ass books. So she has a book called Unhinged that was released, I think, either late last year or early this year, if I'm not mistaken. This book was exactly unhinged. So this follows Olivia Graham. She's a former New York Times bestselling author who she is basically in prison. I've already read it, but she's basically in prison and she's telling a story of like what happened and things she's did, and she's telling different stories and stuff like that. This is actually really good because all of the stories in here are just unhinged and they're a hot mess. So these are really quick reads, really good. You will enjoy it. Cutthroat, y'all. This was a new thriller that takes Unhinged. I thought this was Unhinged. This takes Unhinged to a whole nother level, and the name Cutthroat is the literal best word for this for this book. And so I absolutely adore Octavia Grant and just following her on social media. She seems like she is just a wonderful person. But anyways, go read all of her books. I've read several of her books, but these are just two that I just decided to pull out. Alrighty, so this one was released this year as well. This is No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel. She did write When I Think of You, and that was a 5-star read for me. It is a slow burn. This is also a slow burn. I've started listening to this on audiobook. So far, so good. This one is following a music artist. She is married to her producer. Her producer is cheating on her. She has to divorce him. And so it has a lot of like the fake dating trope, celebrity characters. So I'm really enjoying this book so far. I will eventually finish it. Of course, I start several books, and kind of go back to them and stuff. But I love Maya Ariel's writing. They're very slow burn romances, and it just shows just a Black woman being loved on right, and that you can't go wrong with that. So another book, this is Second Night Stand. This is a sapphic romance book by Corellia and Faye Stetz Waters. One part of this is, I think, one wife. It's a wife to a married couple writing this, and I think one of the wives is Black and the other one is white. Yes, here's the picture. So one half of this author is Black or whatever. But yes, I also have the arc for book 2. Well, it's not book 2. It's not a series, for their second book. And I think this is their debut book together, if I'm not mistaken. I think they've written books separately, but I think this may be their debut novel. I've started reading this one. Wesley Chabon is the narrator. Of course, Homegirl's doing good. And so far, so good on this book. But that's a sapphic romance. So I've started reading this one. This is one that I'm going to get through pretty soon. I'm on chapter 7, page 81 of this book, because this book is an unhinged book. So this book is essentially, it's Almost Perfect by Deonn Kralovic and Allison Andrews. This book follows a therapist who is, from my understanding and what I'm reading so far, he is unaliving his patients. So yeah. And this is really good. And I do follow Deonn on TikTok, and I love seeing him like talk and interact about his books and everything. But so far, so good. That's gonna be a great thriller. I'm happy to hear what happened. So this is another fantasy book. I think it's a YA fantasy, and this is by Kaylin Barron, and this is Cinderella is Dead. And I think this is just a Black Cinderella retelling, and she is the one who also wrote This Poison Heart. I do have that book as well. I've never read a Kaylin Barron book. I have not read this one as well, but I really am excited to get around to this one. So Casey Mills is another one of my favorite thriller authors. She writes really good crime thrillers, in my opinion. And this is You Could Do Damage. This one, I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5 stars. And it says Nari Colette finds herself on the brink of homelessness after a crushing betrayal. She's desperate for stability. She reluctantly agrees to an unconventional proposal from an attractive and enigmatic Kincaid Akel. So it's kind of like an arranged marriage kind of situation. And it's got some drama, romance in it. So this is You Could Do Damage. She has You Could Do Damage 2, which comes out later this year. I do have the arc for that. And so I do want to reread this one. So it's really good. Alrighty, almost finished, guys. So we have Everything Is Not Enough by Lola Akinmade Akastrom. I bought this book because I think it had really high ratings on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. I have no idea what this book is about. And it says, follow the loosely intertwined and messy lives of Kimmy, Brittany, and Yasmin as they interrogate themes of place, prejudice, and patriarchy in Europe. So I do know this author is a Nigerian-American author. And I think I have another book of hers, if I'm not mistaken. In Every Mirror She's Black. I do have that book. I have not read it. But I did want to highlight that book as well. The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I've heard great things about this book. And from my understanding, this is about two sisters. They're both black, but one is white passing. And so she has a white family. Her family does not know that she is actually black, but she's white passing. And so secrets come out. A lot of things kind of blow up their lives. And so I've heard this is really great. And so I really want to read this one. This one I've read, I've cried. I think this is actually my second copy. My first copy, I did let one of my best friends have the book, but this is Fast by Millie Belizaire. So this book is about Caprice Lattimore. We go through dual timeline, dual POV, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's just one POV. Yeah, I think it's just dual timeline, dual POV. She grows up, I think her parents pass away, her mom passes away or something. She ends up going to live with her grandmother and her uncle. Things happen. Check your trigger warnings on this book. You're going to cry. You're going to be pissed off with family members. And this book had me screaming and just crying, and it just had me so emotional. But this is such a touching book. And it's definitely a must read, but definitely check your trigger warnings before carrying on with it. So this one I have not read. This is All Boys Aren't Blue. This is a memoir manifesto by George M. Johnson. And from my understanding, this is a banned book. So this says this is the #2 most banned book in America, and the cover is absolutely stunning. And it says, be bold and brave and queer. And from my understanding, it's just his memoir, and probably about being black in America, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. But I'm really excited to read this. I haven't heard anything about it, but I have seen it like all over Pinterest and TikTok. But I haven't done any like deep dives on what the book is actually about. So we'll get there when we get there, but I really want to read that book. So this is Curvy Girl Summer. Of course, book 2, Plus Size Player, was released this month. I read it, 5-star read. But this is book 1 in the Curve series. I think there's going to be 3 total, and I think the 3rd book releases in 2026. This is a must read. I did enjoy book 2 more than I did this one, but this is equally a very funny rom-com romance story, and it's spicy. So if you are looking for a black hockey romance, this is Played by Naima Simone. Please go out and read this book. I absolutely adored this book. This was a 4 out of 5-star read for me, and it was quite spicy as well. I have not read this book. This is the other book by Danielle Jackson, and this is Accidentally in Love. I'm not sure exactly what it's about just an office manager in a pinup photography. So I wonder if this one is tied to the other book. But of course, just check to make sure it's not a series or anything. But this is Accidentally in Love by Danielle Jackson. I do know it's a romance. So this one, I absolutely love A.E. Valdez, and this is a series. This is book 1, and this is All I've Wanted, All I've Needed. I did not want this story to be over, and so I'm really excited to go through the entire series of this book. But this is about Harlow. She is dating a MLB player, if I'm not mistaken. They end up breaking up. She moves away. She tries to get this new life started in Seattle, Washington, far away from her family and her friends. And she finds this guy, Asen. Asen absolutely loves her, adores her. New book, babe, by the way. But this is a very beautifully written romance. So, last 2 books. Is Stuck in the Country with You by Zuri Day. I saw this on Pinterest and I was like, oh, this looks like this is really interesting. Have no idea what it's about, but I guess it's about being stuck in the country with a guy. But I think this is a second chance romance, if I'm not mistaken. But the cover's stunning. Love it. It's beautiful. I'm really starting to like small town romances. I can tell like that close proximity thing is what I'm really liking. But that's that. And last but not least, I have started this book and I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's Where There's Smoke by Erica Alexander. And this is a small town sapphic romance. So again, another small town romance. And I'm starting to get into sapphic romances. But look at this cover. I have a friend who looks just like this person. Like she's little, just as short like her. And it just reminds me of my friend so much. But anyways, this book is really good so far. I really am enjoying it. It's on Kindle. I do know this one is particularly on Kindle Unlimited. So I plan on finishing this one. I got this recommendation from Brit and Her Books on TikTok. I think I saw it on her Instagram page where she was reading this book and she was like, y'all, this book is spicy. It's really, but the story is good and she's feeling it in her lady parts. So I died laughing in that. And after she said that, I was like, okay, Amazon cart me and give it to me on Kindle Unlimited as well. So I did go out and buy it just literally off Brit and Her Book saying that on IG. But yeah, so that is the last of the stack of books that I wanted to share for Juneteenth. Thank you guys so much for sitting with me and doing a reading sprint. And I will see you guys again. If you have more book recommendations, please be sure to put those in the comments. Let me know how far you all got in your book. What books were you reading? Do you have any book recommendations? Put them below. I definitely want to talk and chat to everybody and see how everybody's doing. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Go and follow me on IG as well as go and follow me on TikTok at Destiny_Reads. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.